back with a review for the epic War and Peace. Probably one of the greatest war movies of all time. Sergei Bondarchuk's masterpiece of 6.5 hours, 470 some minutes, shot over 4 years. It's in 4 parts, in 70 millimeter, which was unusual at the time. It was Russia's most lavish and expensive production, and it was done in response to the Hollywood. There's been a number of Leo Tolstoy's adaptations of Leo Tolstoy's novel War and Peace, specifically the War and Peace of 1956 with Henry Fonda. And that Hollywood version, I think, precipitated Russia's response by saying, we can't be trumped here. We've got to make a film adaptation of Leo Tolstoy's book that's more faithful to the Russian character and the spirit. And that's what you got here. Fantastic movie. One of the greats of all time. The shots that were done were so innovative. Even today, some of the shots of the landscape, these aerial shots that were done, are just incredible. That open and close each film segment. These like dreamlike sequences shot from the air are amazing to look at. The cinematography is just magnificent in a lot of ways. It's so grand and epic in scale that I think Hollywood should go back. When you talk about epic blockbusters, Hollywood could do themselves and us a favor by spending some time watching this film and trying to replicate truly epic blockbuster as it pertains to a film of this scope and magnitude. This really is an epic blockbuster, and it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's certainly one of the greatest movies of 1960s. 4 years in production. Bondarchuk almost died in the production of this film. The story is a sweeping, obviously it's based on the War and Peace novel, Leo Tolstoy, but it's in 4 segments. The first segment really focuses on Pierre here, and he is a kind of a young, carefree, naive Russian who's kind of enamored with Napoleon. He's kind of even though he's a Russian, he's enamored with Napoleon. He likes to get drunk a lot. Doesn't really have a good perspective on life and war and what those things mean. As the film evolves, he becomes full circle a true Russian of spirit. And watching that evolve over time is a fantastic tale. The war scenes in this are unparalleled. Film 3 covers Borodino, the Battle of Borodino with Napoleon, where the Russians made a huge stand. 800,000 people, troops, total on both sides. Basically, it's one of the largest casualty losses of all time for both sides in any war. The Russians held off the Napoleon. Napoleon got a Pyrrhic victory, however. The Russians retreated. But the retreat was a strategic retreat, allowing Napoleon into Moscow. And, of course, the 4th film covers Napoleon's capture of Moscow and retreat from Moscow. At the same time, it covers Pierre's growth as a human being. And, it just covers so much material. It's hard to really capture it all in one little small video commentary. But, it's about the human soul. It's about human character. It's about war. It's about love. It covers so many different things that it's so sweeping in its scope of all the humanities that I would think it's mandatory viewing for most people. If you haven't read the book, do yourself a favor and at least give this a shot, because it's an important film. As I said, it's in 4 parts. You've got part 1 and 2, which covers really the preliminary events that led up to Napoleon's invasion of Russia. You got a lot of romantic ballet dancing and things like that. Still interesting. And then, of course, you get to the meat of its parts 3 and 4 with Napoleon, the Battle of Borodino, and of course the invasion and capture of Moscow. There's also in this image, this is an image release, a bonus disc which includes copious, endless commentaries and interviews with the director, the camera, cinematography, cameraman, an overview of Bondarchuk's life, Leo Tolstoy, his life. It's a nice box set. It's about $30. You can still, it's relatively inexpensive. It could stand, a movie of this magnitude deserves probably an updated Criterion treatment. That would be great. But for now, I think this is the best edition of War and Peace that you're going to find out there on the marketplace. Highly recommended. 10 out of 10. Do yourself a favor and spend about 7 hours watching War and Peace. Thanks.